One of the things I see over and over again as a therapist is women believing that the worst case scenario is the most likely scenario. I probably won't get the job. They're probably judging me. This business probably isn't going to work. They probably don't want to hear from me. And here's what's fascinating. We usually don't even realize we're making a prediction, and we really experience that as the truth. And I don't know if you've ever really caught yourself doing that before, like thinking something bad was going to happen and then acting as if it already had. If that's you, let me know in the comments because I promise you, you're not the only one. And I think today's a good day to do something about it. Let me break it down for you and tell you what's actually happening. Your brain has something called a negativity bias. It's one of the ways your brain has learned to really keep you safe. Like thousands of years ago, noticing danger is really what kept us alive. So today, your brain still asks questions like, what if this doesn't work? What if I embarrass myself? What if they say no? Like, do you hear the pause and reflection in those questions? Do you also notice the other thing that's happening? And if you listen, you'll kind of pick up on it, right? It almost never asks, what if this change is good for me? What if this changes my life? What if they love it? What if this opens the door I've been praying for? It doesn't really lean into the good possibility. Now, your brain isn't trying to like ruin your life. Like that's not what's really happening here, girl. Okay. It's trying to reduce uncertainty. And the problem is growth or change or expanding yourself to new horizons requires a lot of uncertainty. And I think this is even harder for folks who've really been through some things in life, right? If life has been really unpredictable for you, if people have hurt you, if it's really hard for you to trust others or even like trust yourself, right? To really depend on other people, I think uncertainty is even more magnified in those cases, right? And we're actually super sensitive to overreading situations and quickly getting back to this place of uncertainty. Now, the problem with that dynamic, whether it's, sort of in overdrive or just kind of happens on a regular basis, is we often feel like we have to like create safety and wait for it to feel completely safe to do the thing, right? However, if you wait until your brain feels completely safe, you'll probably stay exactly where you are. But we can do something about it, right? That's why I'm here. I love to give you the like what we can do, right? So just because your brain thinks something, it doesn't really make it a fact, right? Like I'll tell my clients sometimes like feelings aren't facts. I'm sure you've probably heard that too. And the same way with your thoughts, like thoughts are not evidence, like they are mental predictions. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's a completely made up story. Sometimes it's a whole telenovela of stories, right? So this exercise that we're going to walk through today, I usually incorporate it into therapy and even with my like my high performers, the women that I coach, right? Because I think this helps us get out of the spiral. And all you really need to do is kind of notice when you're in this space and just pause, pump the brakes, write down the story that your brain is telling you, right? Maybe it's, I'm going to give this presentation and everyone is going to think it's horrible. Okay, write that down. Now ask yourself one question. What else? What else could be true? Maybe I'm nervous, but nobody's going to notice. Maybe you stumble over one sentence and people still walk away receiving valuable information from you, right? And information that is much more memorable than the sweat stains on your shirt. Maybe you don't get this opportunity now because there's another one that's actually a better fit for you. Right? So do you see the balance that's needed? The safety is automatic, but the balance is intentional. This is the part you have to show up for yourself. That energy that we're taking into the worry and putting into like all the what ifs of the story, I need you to just shift that energy just a little bit, right? And I'm not really asking you to like force yourself into this place of like toxic positivity. Not really. What I'm asking you to remember is that your anxiety, your worry, it's only giving you one version of your future, right? Your brain, they're all dancing together, but she doesn't own the future. Your job is just to create space for other possibilities. We want to give it a little bit more information because once your brain really realizes that there are multiple outcomes, it usually can calm down a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, this could be it too. Doable, right? So I want you to try this with whatever you're worried about today. What's the story that it's trying to tell you? What's your anxiety repeating to you? What's your worry repeating to you? Right? Like, seriously, drop that worry for me that you're going to rework in the comments if you're comfortable. Are you worried about the interview? Write interview. Something about your business, write business. Is it your relationship? I could probably say I'm worried about this episode, right? Or parenting or health, my well-being, my weight, right? I think if we start really sharing, we'll also see that, a lot of us are carrying the same exact worries, right? Which also helps you to see that, okay, I'm not alone. And now we all have something that we could do to try to really interrupt this process for us. Okay. So, one thing I hope you remember from this conversation today is like your brain's final thought doesn't have to become your final outcome. Fear can offer you an opinion, and it's just your job to find the facts and really make a choice from that place, right? So just be aware of yourself as you're walking into that space. Pause, ask yourself what else could be true, and you might really be surprised how much freedom lives even just within that one question. And I think freedom, it's such an amazing thing when you get to like emotional freedom. And I think it's what you find when you practice healing. Right. So if anxiety, overthinking, or past experiences are really making it difficult for you to see the possibilities, we have so much more to teach you in our practice. So I'll make sure to link that below as well. So if you'd like to learn more about working with us in therapy, or to schedule a consultation, that is there. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.